Hey guys, it's Matt. Yeah, the old girl was at least 18, Fifi. Could have been 19. The only paperwork I had said 2006, but I don't know if they were estimating that. She was here with me for 7 years, and what? How did I title this? Did I stick with my original thought? Change is the god of this world. I don't mean to. There's 10 to 15% here are Christians. I don't know any other way to title it. I don't think change built this realm or anything like that. I hope I'm not pissing you off, but I don't know any other way to title it. In my opinion, we come into this existence, into this incarnation, primarily, or top three, to experience this sort of hardcore change. Loss is change. Where we came from, who knows how stagnant it was. A million years of not many things changing. Who knows? Who knows? But I couldn't, wherever we came from, it couldn't possibly be as brutal as this place regarding change. Things just coming at you out of the blue. Loss. Why do I keep thinking about Max Cady in Cape Fear? Counselor, you're going to learn about loss. That's a truth drop. You're going to learn about loss. So you're going to Earth? Oh my God. You're incarnating to Earth? Are you ready? Are you ready, son? Oh, you're going to learn about loss. Well, what's that? I've been here a trillion years. There's no loss. Oh, you're going to learn about loss. Things will change sometimes daily. Your health, your loved ones, people around you, your situation. You wake up in a certain apartment on Tuesday. Well, why wouldn't you wake up on Wednesday? But it will change at some point. The change here is so hardcore, it's off the charts, and it can be sad, but it's loss, but it's wondrous. You have to see it that way. It is absolutely incredible. You have to see it from the perspective of a being that potentially went millions of years. I don't know, but you have to see it like that. Before you came here, you had the same rice cake for breakfast for 4 million years. Or who knows? The same friends, the same spiritual interactions. You have to see it from the perspective. When things come at us here daily, someone will drop us. Somebody listening to me is going to get fired today. Somebody listening to me is going to lose a cat or a dog today. If this is going to enough people, and it keeps me in a box here. It keeps me in a little box. I mean, the change here is so hardcore. You have to approach it and have, as you walk around, like a being that came from a place where there wasn't any. And you say, I was fired today. That's what an incredible experience. And you have to just spin it the right way. Remember, I keep talking about my dad's friend Russ. He wasn't lying to himself. He had convinced himself of all these things, but he believed it. And it always worked out for him because he believed it. If he was fired from a job, I've never seen him talk about this specific account or instance, but I assure you, he would say, this is the greatest thing of all time. The possibilities that are going to open up to me. I'm going to like the new job better. I'm going to meet new friends. I'm going to meet my wife or what. He would immediately spin it. And that helps. We're reality creators to a degree. That would help, of course, help facilitate that or help create that. But what we're talking about here, let's not stray too far. The change from somebody like Russ would immediately be embraced. Most of us, there are a few of us out there that are the exception. Most of us like our comfort. We don't like change. It's one of the reasons we came here and incarnated here. I'm all the way pinned down the sliding scale of I don't like change. I like my comfort. And I don't seek out the change, but at least now I've come so far that I see it. What happened at Fifi yesterday? Yes, I'm sad, but I see how incredible this is. How things change in our lives. My health, a new appreciation that I just you take things for granted here. We take things then we learn not to take them for granted, at least temporarily. We always go back to our old ways, don't we? Get habituated back, and that's one of the major parts of part 2. The work, the worry about yourself activities. Maybe we don't have to get to the point where we love the change, or I love that I lost Fifi. No, but to see how amazing the experience is. I'm very proud of myself. Years ago, I got to where I am now, that it's the loss or the change is bad, but I see it now as so amazing. Part 2, the work, the worry about yourself activities, etc. It's so much more important than part 1. Sometimes part 1 is necessary to fully engage in part 2. Part 1, if anybody's new, is just seeing through the general reality trick. Seeing that most of the news stories are completely cake in a lake, seeing that the political presentation of Republican versus Democrat is an absolute joke. I mean, then you get to the point, as Norm the bathtub rebel, hopefully someday, will throw his rubber ducky at me on the television above his bathtub and say, Matt, what part of all of this reality stuff coming from the screen in the outer ring, whether it be from the news or the newspaper or politics or science or astronauts, Musk going to Mars, what part of all this confusion and noise is a trick? All of it is. And the main purpose of its trick is to keep you in part 1. So you never get to part 2, the work, the personal work, the worry about yourself activities. The only thing in this existence that matters is getting to part 2. Now, did you fully understand the words that were coming out of my mouth? The conspiracy generation machine, it's just a baited hook to keep you stuck there so you don't do the work. There's many people, I guess, that have lived this life. Somebody yelling out at me or rising up out of their bathtub right now, throwing rubber duckies, will bring that back, saying, Matt, a lot of people have worked on themselves and they don't have to be able to see through every mall event and every school event. I agree. For some people, what we call part 1, we're interested in conspiracy and the reality generation machine. And for us, part 1, seeing through the trick, is necessary to do part 2 properly. But when you see through reality the way we do, when it's all broken down before our eyes, the way we do, then you say, wait a second, there's something organized here that's trying to stop me from doing something. You clearly see it's here to trip you up. It's here to get in your way. That makes I don't have to convince you that you have to do this self-work, part 2, the work. In this presentation, we're focusing on the embracing of change that comes in this hardcore reality. And if you don't, you might not love it. I don't want to move out of my apartment. I don't want to get a new job. It's okay. I'm not saying you have to love the change. I don't think we ever have to get there. We're never going to get to where Russ got to. Most of us won't. But to see that how incredible it is, and it's part of the experience, to roll with the punches, just to not fight against it. We die. The ultimate change, death, right? It brings the ultimate change, birth and death. Everything in between is minimal compared to the change of death. Personally, I don't think we have to go seek out the change. Like you're going to be talking to your spiritual self after death, and there's a meter. It's like weighing your heart against a feather and that nonsense, saying, you didn't experience enough change. Your higher self's like giving you a lecture. You didn't experience enough change. You had a failed life, boy. You needed more change. You didn't seek it out. What was I supposed to do? It's you talking to you. I like to bicker back and forth with my higher self in this sort of role play. What the hell? What's that from Animal? What the hell was I supposed to do, you moron? That's from Animal House. What was I supposed to do? Just quit my job? It was a good job? Whatever, assuming you work somewhere you like or whatever. You say, I'm not experiencing enough change. I fucking quit. For what? You just did this really well. You just got a promotion. You're dealing with this team really well. You just got but I'm not experiencing enough change. I don't think we have to actively seek it out like that. This world, if you can hide from it in a cave, it will bring change. You can't avoid change in this place. This place is hardcore change. You can't hide from it. It's the perspective of when it comes. Not to say, oh, this is wonderful. I remember that the skiing accident in Hot Tub Time Machine, or was it a skiing accident? He was hit by a snowplow. Maybe was he doing chainsaw art where he lost the arm? Remember the bellhop or the bell boy or whatever in Hot Tub Time Machine? He's like, oh my God, I lost the arm in a skiing accident or whatever. This is a wonderful change. Now I have only one arm. I'm not saying that. That's psychotic. I'm not saying to embrace it like that and say, I've been here. How long have I worked here? 10 years? Oh my God, I'm not giving my spiritual self enough change experience. I fucking quit. Don't do that. It will come. Change, you can't hide from it in this place. It'll find you. It's the perspective is what matters. Not that you love it. I don't love what happened yesterday in the vet and all. It was, I've been through that now. How many I've had 6 girls, if you include the feral outside that was outside for several months. I never really talked about her. Her name was Tuxie. The feral I took care of. She was killed in the woods, but that's another story. I kind of count her as one of my cats. Yeah, I've been through it. A relationship with a dog, I think, would be even worse. Nobody likes it, but I see the wonder in it. I'm upset, but it's different than it would have been for me 4 or 5 years ago. It's just part of me is very sad and upset, but part of me goes, this is an incredible experience. This world of change. I mean, this is a dumb example, but for years, I mean, my relationship with Pam, she's come up big recently for a lot of reasons, but it's waned and, it's come and gone. But for, probably, 2005 through 2016 or 2017, every Tuesday, I basically drove over there to help her with something, to put a picture up on the wall or to spackle a hole or to help out, to see Gouda, the cat, and have a little food. And it was mostly almost every Tuesday. But then it just stopped. You're like, well, you could say to me in the middle of it, well, why wouldn't I come next Tuesday? We had we yell and scream at each other. We have fights all the time. I still kept coming. We have our bickering. But what changed? Nothing here. I know I'm just stating the obvious. I know nothing stays the same, but I didn't see, only in the last 3 or 4 years do I see how incredible this is. And in a way, in that sense, I embrace it, where I would have never, this is a very successful part to the work, where, I maybe go back to the old Matt in his late 20s, or 30 years old, working for the big insurance company. Oh God, we had to move offices. We moved over to Sansom Street and we got to move offices. Oh, it's gonna be a fucking nightmare. It's just like, well, I'm not thrilled with it. I don't think I probably would bitch about it today, but I'd see it as at least part of. Nothing stays the same here. Nothing is stagnant for the most. This is incredible. I'd say, oh, we got to move to Sansom. Fuck. I'd bitch about it, and at least I would see it differently today. To me, that is a successful part to the work. The part to the work is no mystery. People ask me all the time, what is this part to the work? You're going to share the secret? There's no secret. It's just the rudimentary stuff. The stuff what to do, but we run from it. We hide from it. It's really, in most cases, it's quite boring and rudimentary to talk about. But it's the stuff most people don't get done in their lifetime for whatever reason. For our type of entity, we get distracted. The Not Milk is an expert at baiting the hook in front of us. I think a big part of doing part to the work successfully is to practice the role play that you are much more than this experience. Walk around with a completely different perspective. That you are timeless. You're here for a short period of time. We forget that. I'm here for a temporary period of time. I'm here having this first person experience through this body. And the more, we dive into this, the more the body really seems like sometimes it's not really, it's the rent-a-car we're in, but is it really us? I'm more and more as I do part two of the work. I appreciate my body. I say, body, that's a great job. Thank you for telling me I had to go to the bathroom before I left. I mean, whatever. I do this all the time. I give a little pat to my body. But it's almost like it's not really me. That comes over time as well. And I think it's okay to see the body as somewhat separate. The body is rooted here. It isn't. You can sense there's a part of you that's not rooted here or bigger than this place. And even in our own language, we give it away. My father For years and years, I can't tell you how many times he says, well, I don't really want to go to the doctor, or whatever. The body heals itself. He talks about it like it's separate from himself. I don't think he would ever go where we're going here, but just the language of it. He doesn't say even my body is saying like it's something you have that's a bit separate. But the ultimate separation in terms of the language people use without even thinking about it is the body will heal itself, or that's when you break it down, that language being used, you're saying that you're not it, and that's okay as long as you love it and you have a good synergistic relationship. You say, body, I'm going to give you good food today. Oh, hey, body, take in the vitamins and minerals from this banana that I'm about to eat, and I appreciate you, and that is the best relationship with the body. We don't have to believe that the muscles. It is because deep down, is it us? Think about it. We're the same. Think about it. It's not us. It's just not. You can sense it. It's just we're here in it, or this is the experience, the first person experience to navigate this reality. But deep down, I don't think it gets upset when I say this. It's not us. The body, my body, is a separate, and we work together. It works with consciousness and my conscious thoughts, but it's not consciousness. It's two completely separate things. It's more of a rent-a-car, not a used car. I don't ever want to run it down. A nice rent-a-car. But this experience that comes through, it feels like we're thinking in the brain, between the temples, behind the eyes. That's where it's a first-person video game that's so believable that the Not Nulka works overtime, of course, via its trick to have us believe this is entirely who we are. So one of the big things regarding part 2 of the work is to walk around. It seems there's a degree of arrogance to it, I guess. Walk through the center of town that you're in the rent-a-car, but you have the perspective walking around town that you are a timeless being in a temporary, having a transient and temporary experience. And we know, but we can, and we're never going to have that totally. We're never going to carry that forth every day, 24/7, 365. And if we actually carried that attitude all the time, we'd probably become a real asshole. But we want to remember that as much as possible and have that aura, and then, oh, look, this change. Oh, I was fired from my job, or I lost a cat, or I lost a relationship. And the perspective of the closer you are to this reality, the closer you are, to the body and to this, and that's and when we forget, and this is all we are, and most people the billions walk around this earth believing, really not even understanding that they're more than it seems like a consciousness that most people thinks it's coming. Most of people thinks it's coming from the brain. They think it's coming. They think consciousness is solely coming from the brain. That's ridiculous. That is just. We'll talk about that some other time. And the body's them, and this, and the key to the city, and all the rewards they've been given by their employer, and the Not Nulka. I once parked in that parking spot up front for the Employee of the Month. That's all they are. The Not Nulka, we have to always remember this. Why does the Not Nulka continuously want us to fool us into thinking that this is all we are? So part 2 of the work, we have to do the opposite. We have to walk around town with our chin up in an arrogance that I'm a timeless being walking around in a rent-a-car, and hopefully you can stay humble. You don't want to become an asshole. If you believe that too much, you could become a little arrogant. That's not good either. But you know what I mean? Don't forget that perspective. So if a change will come daily, whatever it may be. You broke a fingernail. The change comes hourly. And it's like, okay, well, that's going to cost me something. I'm going to have to, oh boy, that's going to be painful to fix, or cost money, or I hurt my ankle, or broke this, or, the change can come with a lot of even misery, of course. Look at me yesterday, and me 2.5 weeks ago in the hospital, and you obviously you have your own experiences, but just always, no matter how bad it is, to say, okay, this is just another aspect of change, and I guess I'm repeating myself, so I'll wrap this section up. To bring in the wonder and the fascination of the change itself, which comes by seeing how unique this place is. This earth, this material plane, We don't see it as unique or different because this to most people is all we are. It's all we know. But can you imagine yourself, what you were spiritually before this, and how incredible these experiences would be and wondrous to somebody that came from that place? And here we go again with those that want to present this poor attitude. Well, Matt, that proves it's hijacked or whatever. See, it's not fair. It's not a fair test if we don't know who we were. You just said it yourself, Matt. If we remembered who we were, what we were before we incarnated, then we'd have a perspective. This mind wipe, it proves that it's a hijacked reality, Matt. No. In this one example, fine. If you remembered who you were before incarnating, then certain aspects of this change would be a lot easier to accept. You may see it as more wondrous remembering who you were because that change may not come to the same degree from where you came from. Or maybe it's not even 1% of the change here from where you came from. But the problem is the same every single time. This whole experience doesn't work if we don't have what people call the mind wipe. I don't like that. I don't like the terminology. I don't like the verbiage and the lingo and the vernacular, whatever that. I don't like it. It implies that something came and aggressively did something to you. The mind wipe. No, that nothing here works if we know one bit about who we will be after death or what we were before birth. Nothing works. The best way I've described it before, or actually the worst way I've described it, but the most rudimentary way, is we just wouldn't get out of bed in the morning. Nothing would have any significance. This place, first and foremost, has to be believed in. The notion that death may bring the end of existence is necessary for it to be believed in. Not having any understanding of where we came from, except being born from a mother and remembering some things when we were 1.5 or 2.5 years old, and then scientists say we came from a big bang, and this might be it. This might be the end of existence because you a monkey man, and this is all random. It's just random, and then you go into the dirt, and all we are is dust in the wind, and those villains sing their songs, dust in, and kids sitting up smoking pot by themselves go, I'm just going to be dust in the wind? That's depressing. This place doesn't work if we knew who we were. We wouldn't get out of bed in the morning. In the book, I said, if you knew, the employer would call. I ain't stock. And I said something in the book like, all right, tell that it's that scene from Brad Pitt in Oceans 11 and 12. Tell him I'm not stocking his shelves anymore because I remember who I was before birth. And tell him he dresses like a gigolo. And tell him having a sexy assistant with a sexy voice is such a overused cliche. I forget what was said in Ocean's 12. And tell him I'm not stocking. And tell him he dresses like a gigolo. And you'd be barking that out to your roommate on the phone with your boss. Well, why aren't you getting out of bed? You're not going to work. I remember who I was before birth. I'm a timeless spiritual being. I ain't going to work for Tony Manero anymore in Saturday Night Fever. I ain't going to work in his hardware store. You just wouldn't do anything. It doesn't work. Call it a mind wipe if you want, but it's necessary. It's absolutely necessary. Again, I don't like mind wipe because it implies, you're just minding your own business and somebody swooped down on you and did something to you. It's a verb. It's a nasty verb, mind wiped. You would never ask for that. You never signed up for that. I call it a necessary forgetfulness so we can live and have this experience, and it's worthwhile. It's not worthwhile if we knew who we were. And tell me dresses like a gigolo. So to finish up, let's use Tony's scenario of the higher self, the ultimate spiritual being that sent many aspects or hundreds or thousands of aspects of itself into material planes, into earth-like realms to have experiences so the higher self can learn from the little aspects of itself that are being fooled to live out realities on places like Earth. And then all those, they're called simultaneous incarnations. Tony said, what you are is that. That's what, according to Tony, who supposedly communed with his higher self, hey, I listen. Tony said some things that really resonate with me. There's some very interesting things. It doesn't mean you and I have to bow down before this, like this is exactly what happens. It's fun to think through, and it's an interesting concept. Remember, he said we're a higher, we're more advanced spiritual entity than the sequential, which is Melvin and Bezos and Larry Silverfish and Santa Claus Schwab and those sorts of low fiddlin' Benz creatures that in past lives hung out with Bill Cutting. Bill Cutting, he was the head of the Natives gang in, not, I was going to say Coming to America. Akeem, not Coming to America, Gangs of New York. How can you confuse those two? When you think of garbage, think of Akeem. Sorry. So as Tony described what the higher self is to entities like you and me, remember, simultaneous incarnations, the higher self has, he never said how many. I never asked him either. I should have, a few hundred, many thousands of different aspects of itself on Earth in different time periods, because there is no such thing as time. Time is just the perception of lowering the record needle down on the record. It's all right there on top of each other. It's just perception. There's no such thing as time. So multiple simultaneous incarnations playing out at different time periods. And I never asked him this either, what his perspective was on this. Again, I'm not bowing down before every thing he said. It's very interesting. It resonates with me because I've always thought there's a part of me that's not here. Okay, it's not, or at least this Matt in the body, is not all that I am. I mean, at the very minimum, we recognize and agree with that. So if there were thousands of simultaneous incarnations, maybe tens of thousands, who knows? But maybe one might die every day, and we could do a role play with higher self who has some sort of an administrative assistant in the spiritual realm or secretary. One might die every day. Who we got today? Who we got up today? It's like an exit interview. You got to come before your higher self. Matt, is this where you're going to mock and make fun and argue with your higher? Yeah, of course. That's what we do here. Who we got today? Who the administrative assistant comes to the spiritual being, and it's not sitting on a throne. This your higher self. Oh, we got Matt McKinley from Exton area, Pennsylvania. Oh God, that guy died. We're going to see him today. Oh, but he's that conspiracy son of a beach that we had investigating. He wasted. That's the guy that wasted 10 years on mall events and school events and fake space, cake and a lake space and all that. But sir, here looking at his chart, it's like looking at a medical chart. He left all that behind. He started to do a lot of important stuff for us. The part, what he called part 2, the work. He left the trick behind. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. He's one of the few incarnations. We have a bunch of fooled motherfuckers. He's one of the few incarnations that left the trick of those realities behind. Yeah, I want to bring that mofo in. I want to talk to him in person. He did a pretty good job, but his record shows here that he didn't actively seek out change. But where was he incarnated? Administrative assistant. It's like, I feel like I'm talking to one of the elementals in that horrible Disney Pixar movie. I picture one of the flaming elemental as the administrative assistant in this role play for some reason. He didn't seek out change. We have such a stagnant spiritual life that change is one of the main reasons we send these simultaneous incarnations into these low, horrible places, especially that. And what time period on Earth was he? We got him in 1400. We got 2000 BC. He was in 1970 through 2025 Earth. Oh my God, what a weird ass time to be incarnated. He's really going to have some stories. He probably witnessed the reality breakdown. Bring his sorry, broke spiritual ass in. But sir, like I said, he did not seek out change. But he was on Earth, administrative assistant. You don't have to seek it out there. He was on Earth. It will find you on Earth. He didn't, yes, I agree. He did not actively seek it out. But maybe because Earth is so hardcore pipe hitting regarding the change it brings to that aspect of our incarnation every day, that if you're on Earth, you don't have to actively seek it out. You get a pass. You get an A in that grade because on Earth it will seek you out. You can't hide from it even in a cave. What's important with our incarnations is how they viewed the change, the perspective they had on it when it came. Did they go, oh, no, I'm not doing that. Oh, God, I'm not moving to Sansom Street. We got to move the office. Or did they embrace the change as the wonder and fascination of the incarnation? part of the whole learning experience of being incarnated. That's what we're interested in. So bring that spiritually broke mofo in. I want to talk to his conspiracy ass. Thanks for listening.